You leave that open, huh? Oh, it's like it doesn't matter if that's open or closed, right?
Water to drink.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fantastic. There was somebody else here,
so
but she's
awesome.
gone
This just
now.
worked out so well. But they're gone?
Yeah, there was somebody here, but
Karla.
she's gone.
Karla just joined in, so here we go. Yay!
Hello.
What, are you now?
Yeah. I'm trying to see.
Okay. Here's the thing. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
That is the fanciest backdrop I have ever seen.
Thanks.
Yeah, that looks pretty good too.
Okay, coming out.
Coming out.
All right.
Back of me. Just want this close for the
Doesn't
glare.
matter.
The glare.
Camera on the shelf above the window and just toward me.
You guys got this?
Yep, we got that.
Party like rock star.
Got it.
Find him?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we got you. Did you want a smaller brush than that?
There's a smaller one in here. But I don't know if we need it because we have like a bunch of brush.
Okay. All right.
We'll have dinner when you come in.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't know what to have.
In my background. Here's Tracy.
Oh, check the garage. When I opened the door and pulled in, there was a bird
You can almost see you.
trying to get out.
I know, I'm backlit, aren't I?
Yeah.
So I left the door open, hoping the bright light was going.
Are you gonna go
I
with
don't know. We'll find out. She'll tell us. That's what she's here for. She tells us what to do.
Oh.
I got you.
Yeah, see, she's got you.
She's the only one that ever tells me what to do.
Karla, you look amazing. Sorry, I'm a little late, guys. We were walking the dogs because if we didn't do it before the meeting, then quarantine sets in and we can't, or curfew sets in and we can't go.
You're not late at all, Tracy.
Good. I feel late. I'm feeling very like hectic.
Do we need to stop and catch our breath and take a couple deep breaths?
Yeah, I'm fine. But
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what you mean by that.
is Mom there, Laura?
And yeah.
That's Kevin.
Where are you
I
there?
think I see Mom's forehead. There she is.
2 red soda cold water
the red soda?
of cold water.
There she is.
A red
Can you
soda.
see her waving?
Yes,
Far, far away.
yes. And there's my friend Shelly.
Hi, Mom. Oh, hi, friend.
So Tracy's my youngest sister, from the one that teaches in Guatemala.
She's the one you can't see.
Yeah.
I know, I'm in shadow.
It's very bright in her apartment. There
There,
she is.
see?
And
I
then,
love that you're pointing, Karla, like we know where you're pointing.
yeah, but that way I know who I'm talking about. See?
Don't look at me in that tone.
And then my sister Laura and her family and my mom's there, since they keep themselves isolated a little better than I am able to. And then there's Shauna Sue. And Mason did not make it back in time.
Oh, that's too bad. Did he enjoy his first day on the job though?
We haven't talked to him yet. So he went to golf yesterday and came home with a job. So he started today at 4.
And he didn't even know what the job was. He left out the best part.
He didn't know what the job was for sure. Didn't know how much it paid. All he knew is he got to golf for free.
Mason may, he'll be a senior next year.
Yes.
He's Karla's son. He went to, was he going to practice golfing?
Yeah, he went just to play 9 holes and talked to the guy he had paid his $100 for his membership for the summer, and he talked to the guy, and the guy was hired him, said, oh, here, you get the employee discount, gave him his money back, and he golfs for free, and then whatever else the employee discount is.
The pop and stuff's on that now.
Yeah,
So basically your son is very much related to Sam because he walked in and just chatted and all of a sudden had a job.
Yeah.
All about people skills.
It is. It really is.
Laura, you are
like-
muted.
Yeah, Laura, you're talking, but we can't hear you. And you're not muted.
I think Kaden broke it.
She seems to be frozen.
Yeah, she's not
It's
frozen.
apparently Caden's fault.
That's okay, because like Saturday morning, I did a private paint party for a group, and I went to check on Gertrude, my dog, and came back and talked for like 5 full minutes about the first part of the painting. And when I finally turned around and looked at Zoom, everybody was like, we can't hear you. Awesome. Awesome.
It happens to everybody.
Are you there, Laura? Are you broken?
Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Okay, it was. Hey. Okay. So I lost my partner in time because he got a job apparently. So you need to make sure that Karla, you have a drink somewhere in the refrigerator
Okay.
for you, and I need you to say the other thing, Shauna Sue, because I can't pronounce it.
What other thing?
Well, when I ran into you at Meyer, I was buying all the things for the board, meats, cheeses, crackers. Can't
Charcuterie.
pronounce it.
Charcuterie.
Nope. Nope. Can't say it. All right, so,
Charcuterie.
charcuterie. Karla, say cinnamon so I don't feel so bad.
A charcuterie board that is the smallest. Is this bigger than your charcuterie board?
It is, but I didn't send that. I actually had they were pre-made little packs
Now this,
of
What's that?
what do we need?
charcuterie board. And then you got drinks too. And then later you've got dessert in the fridge, honey. Yep, there you go. Drink,
All the treats.
meat and cheese. There you go.
On the
Oh
back
yeah,
of
it's a
the
cheesecake.
program.
And there's strawberries
Yes,
somewhere
you
too.
brought this out.
Okay.
Strawberry.
Yeah, but
too.
apparently I didn't pay as well as the golf course because I lost my employee.
We have it.
We need at least 2 weeks' notice.
Berries.
Yes, wash those. I didn't.
Thinking we're gonna need a biggish brush each.
I feel like I need an afro.
Sorting when she starts.
Bob Ross.
Call Bob Ross.
What are you exploring?
You think it's, she's like
Why are you itching?
Samson?
Do you have
she
a flea?
gets more superpowers the longer her hair is.
No,
Yes.
I didn't even have an itch.
Oh, those weren't itching.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Sam said he wasn't itching. Tracy. It's okay.
Oh,
no
he
fleas.
wasn't itching?
Yeah, no fleas
Okay.
here.
Not yet.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I'll get him a
There's no
collar.
fleas here either. The dogs are treated for fleas, but whenever they scratch, that's just what I ask.
He takes me in for the dip.
Nice.
It is what it is.
Wait, I need the apron. Are you using one?
I only have one.
I want to use one.
No, you've got a much nicer outfit on than I do.
Not really.
Yes, put on the apron.
I don't really mind getting this shirt dirty.
Is yours recording? Oh. Mhm. Shelley, if you're gonna talk so much, you're gonna have to let everybody else talk too.
Listen, I'm just enjoying peace and quiet. No one's here right now.
And say, where'd you ship your little ones off to?
They all went on a family walk.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, it'll last 10 minutes. It'll be fine. And then they'll be crawling up in here.
It's all right.
Just, oh. I like your decorations.
Thanks. My sister sent them up to me.
She's awesome. Oh, man.
We lost Laura and Tracy now at this point. Oh, there's Tracy. She's behind the camera. There's Laura.
Yeah. Hey, no. 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 Eventually, if I keep saying no, it works.
Probably not.
That's what your sister does too.
No, it definitely does. It might just be that it's a coincidental working, but it works.
Can't drip on your baby. No, thank you.
No. You out of here.
No, you can't. I didn't say the cup would drip. I said you would.
I'm not gonna drip.
Shelly, was 8 o'clock too early for you in the morning?
No, we were up at 5:45 today.
There you go. I get up at
Fun!
I get up at 5:15 to get Will.
Oh,
So then I fall back asleep. Then he falls asleep on the couch, and I do too. I fall asleep on my chair.
Okay, I got up at 4.
oh.
He's back to work.
How's work?
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh,
Same as it was before.
Every bit of it's there. Except now we got to wear face masks and gloves, and you know you're not allowed to stand too close to people. And
It's not Saturday, is it? It's a week.
yeah, it's
that'd be
interesting.
hard.
Laura, are you thirsty? Laura's thirsty.
Laura's
I
double
need
fisted
one.
it
Well,
tonight.
it's so 5.
I couldn't decide if I wanted to go with, white or red.
Nice.
Prepared.
Okay.
You do both are pink.
No, that would not be good. That would be bad. This is an apple sparkling and this is a sangria. I don't really think that would.
After the first couple, it won't matter.
Actually, I bet this would probably go pretty nice together. Because the
That's
same.
what I was thinking, Tracy. It sounds good together.
I'll tell you, the Welch's sparkling sangria that's not alcoholic, shockingly tasty. Like super, super good. I really, really like it.
You'll put paint on.
I wasn't gonna eat. Crazy. When we start.
Have you done this?
Ghost.
No, have you?
I wrote the sticky note on what to read.
Oh, I gotta go dig it out of my tub from where I brought it home from school. I haven't read it.
I'm good.
Right? It's at 1:30, right, Shelley?
Yeah, 1:30.
Oh, I got time. I'll read it tomorrow.
I probably won't.
So you guys let me know when we're ready to get started. Entirely up to you.
Shanasu is like, don't forget, we're supposed to do this thing where we like paint a painting.
I'm good, man. I'll just mute y'all and I'll start painting.
I'm ready when everybody else is.
Is everybody here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So should we get started? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm not gonna mute you unless I have to. Tracy, I will mute you, sister.
But do you see he has his little white poodle on his lap to paint with?
Oh, sweet baby.
You don't have to use his big brush strokes with the dog.
Exactly.
You are using acrylic paint, right? Please don't use oil-based paint on that baby. All right. What do you think? Should I mute you so it stays on me? Is your screen jumping around based on who's talking?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got it on gallery view on mine, so I see everybody.
Okay, we good? Okay, let's get started. If it starts jumping around or getting weird, let me know and I'll put you on mute because that tends to freeze things. So screens aren't jumping around because I'm on a cell phone, so I can only see 4 of you, or well, 3 plus me at a time. So just like we were at the studio, let's do inventory and make sure we have everything we need. First and foremost, a big round of applause. Congratulations to the graduates. Yay!
Yes.
Okay, so the paint that I'm using tonight, you might be using something different, but the paint I'm using is acrylic paint. It's water-based, water-soluble. Let's see, but if I get it on my clothes and it dries, it's a bear to get out. So make sure you have a paint shirt, an apron, something that you don't care about getting paint on, because it's real easy when you're painting to flick off the edge of the canvas if you're not careful. And this is our painting that was chosen. And I'm gonna say, when we're done, we'll all have some version of this. Everybody's is gonna be different because I know we're all using different supplies. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited to see what happens tonight. So I'm gonna move that to the side. So when we talk about inventory, let's make sure we have everything we need before we get started. So everybody has a canvas, yes? Some kind of a canvas? Is everybody staying vertical? I know the night is young, but I think this painting works well either way. You could flip it the other direction. You could go landscape if you wanted. I think I'm gonna stay vertical because I really like the tall, skinny trees. That's just me, but think about where you're gonna put it when you're done. If you have a spot on your bookshelf that will accommodate landscape, well, then that's what you'll do. So I have a stretched canvas tonight, so I'm gonna try and remember as I go to paint my edges. So we're gonna start with that blue in the background, and as we go, I'm gonna try and remember to paint my left side, the top, the right side, so my painting is wrapped all the way around when I'm done. Okay, so we have canvas, brushes. Let's talk really quick about brushes. You can do this painting really with anything you have, but this is what I have. I have a big brush for my background, some kind of big wash background brush. I have a medium flat brush, I really like this guy. I love a filbert, and he's a filbert.
Yeah.
Filbert just means he's curved on the end, but he's flat. He's skinny.
Big,
And then
meaty.
you should have some kind of a pointy brush that you're going to use to do the backbone of your trees. You're going to use to do a couple little branches. And then you may have a fan brush. If you don't have a fan brush, no worries. I'll show you how to do a pine tree with your big background brush. But if you have a fan brush, now's the time to get him out. So I'm going to take my fan brush and just lay it to the side. Everything else, my other brushes, I'm going to take them and put them in my water cup. So you should have a water cup that's half full with cool or cold water. Not warm, not hot. It should be cool or cold. So I'm going to leave my brushes in there. That's a good reminder that when I'm done using a brush, it goes back in the cup with his friends when we're done with them. You should also have some paper towels, 3 or 4 paper towels to blot your brush out on. Optional supplies, I have a paint pen. I always keep a paint pen in my supplies. I am really bad at signing my paintings with a brush, so I like to have a paint pen just for giggles, right, to sign my paintings. Something else you're going to need that was not in the supply list, you may need a credit card or old driver's license, some old firm card that you don't care much about it. Now, acrylic paint will come off of it. Acrylic paint, when it dries, it turns to plastic. But we're going to need something to be able to do the sides of the trees. Now, if we were Bob Ross, we'd have a palette knife. I don't have a palette knife with me here tonight. My purse is out in the car. What I'm probably going to do, I have some paper plates. I'm probably going to take a paper plate when the time comes and just cut a square out of it. You can't use paper. You need to do something that has a little more, it's a little more rigid. So I'm just going to use a paper plate for mine. We'll talk about that more later, but start thinking about it. We all have like an old random shopper card in our wallet that we don't use anymore. You could use that. And then paint. Let's talk paint. I know we all have different things, but this is kind of what mine looks like. So I have a lot of white. We're going to use a lot of white tonight. You should have some kind of a blue, maybe a red, maybe a yellow. That's what we're going to do in the sky. And then greens for your trees and some black for the bark on your tree. Something like that. Some version. Okay. And I have 2 different greens. You may have one, you may have both, entirely up to you. You can, if you only have 1 green to work with, you can always add yellow and white to that green to get a different shade of green. So don't worry if you only have 1. All right. Are we ready? Everybody has all their stuff? Everybody ready to get started? Yeah. Karla, where's your stuff?
It's all right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. It looks like you guys are just like sitting there watching, and I was like, well, that's weird, but okay.
Right here's all the stuff.
All the stuff. Got it. All right. Find your biggest brush. I'm going to squish that guy around in the water cup. I'm going to loosen him up a little bit, soften him up. Dry him off on your paper towel. That's super important to squish it in your water cup, especially if you're using new brushes. When you get new brushes, they come with some kind of like a starch on them to keep them straight in shipping and packaging. So you want to make sure and squish it around in there and soften it up. Make sure you get all that starch off of it. So now we're going to start up here at the top left corner. And my brush strokes are all going to be diagonal, not like crazy diagonal, but a nice gentle swoopy diagonal. A little bit of blue, a lot of white. And we're going to go about halfway down on the left. So let me show you. I have a really dark blue. I have phthalo blue, and I know phthalo blue is super powerful. So I'm going to use just a little bit of it. So I'm going to take a big old chunk of white, like a lot of white, and the littlest bit of blue, blurp, just a little bit on there. And I'm going to start up here at the top left. I'm going to go side to side. a nice gentle diagonal. And we're gonna go down to about halfway on the left. Make sure, right off, get that tippy top.
I'm running out of stuff here to do. No, just,
Now, as you paint your sky, you can use your brush flat ways. You can turn it and use it skinny ways and get different brush strokes, shushy brush strokes. The thing to remember though is acrylic paint blends while it's wet. Once it's dry, it will not blend. So you want to get it the way you want it and then slowly work down. And this is for Tracy. Take a big deep breath. Let it out.
Thank you.
All good, baby. All good. And as you paint this, think about what your sky looks like in your world, right? This is my Bob Ross moment of the night. Is it blue? Is it straight blue all the way down or halfway down? Do you have some white shushy brush strokes in there? Like wispy clouds maybe? Up to you.
How far down?
About halfway.
Halfway on the left. It's not going to be as far on the right, but halfway on the left. And get your edges as you go. It's easier to get them as you go than it is to try to match them up later.
How far down did you say to go, Shauna? With the blue?
Halfway down on the left.
Okay, thank you.
Here, and get on the paintbrush.
Karla, is this memories of being at the studio? Does this all feel very familiar?
Yes, except you're not standing right next to me to say, it's okay, just relax, put the paint on the canvas.
I'm here. I'm here for you. Big deep breath. It'll be okay. We don't judge it halfway through. All those things. I know I already have people messaging me wanting to know, like in June, can we start having parties at the studio? We'll keep it to 10 people. And I was like, you guys realize though, I have to stay 6 feet away from you. So I can't walk up and down the aisle. I have to do that from 6 feet away. That changed everybody's opinion real fast.
Aw.
Oh, what's up, Gertrude?
what she's doing there.
Okay. So now make sure as you're covering your sky that you don't have any canvas weave peeking through. I'm getting a different look at mine, moving it around. I can see I have little speckles in a couple places. I need to get a little more paint on there. We don't want to see any of your weave peeking through. Gertrude. I'm gonna have to close the door.
That looks angry.
Yeah, I've been using a little bit of the light, a little bit of the dark. I've been really pleased with the effect of mixing the two.
Now I know I said acrylic paint blends while it's wet. When it's dry, it will not blend. So I'm taking a look to make sure I've got it the way I want it. And I'm really kind of enjoying, with that dirty brush, taking a little bit of white, just a tiny bit, and using my brush skinny ways and kind of creeping a little bit of white back up in there while it's still wet. Gives you kind of the idea of clouds in places. Those real wispy clouds. Optional, you don't have to, but I like what that's doing.
Pressure is going bald here.
I was liking what I was doing, and then suddenly it went to the right.
Oh, Tracy, I feel like you'll appreciate this. I finally ordered my GoPro. It's coming tomorrow.
Oh.
I know. So I can hook up my GoPro on my tripod right under my phone and be able to record everything and then edit it and put it on my YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
We'll see. It could be a huge time suck and I get 0 views, but it'll be there for anybody that wants to reference it later.
Get the headgear and wear it on your head.
Yes.
I thought about it, but I move around way too much. I'm afraid I'd make somebody sick to their stomach. So I'm gonna keep going down the canvas. I'm not rushing you. That's not my intent here. But I do know that acrylic paint blends while it's wet. Once it's dry, it will not blend. So while this part right here, while this blue is still wet, I'm gonna move on to my next color. I'm gonna move into blue with a little bit of red. And then I'm gonna finish out with a little bit of yellow. Okay, so that red is super powerful, so be careful with it. So I'm gonna take some, and you may not be there yet, and that's okay. I'm gonna take some white, a big chunk of white, a tiny bit of blue, because that's what I've been doing, and the teeniest, tiniest little squish of red. Oh, tiny. Teeny, teeny, tiny. Start right there in the edge of that wet blue. And to blend, we have to start in the blue, go up a little and down. Up a little and down to get it to blend and not have a solid line. Don't be afraid to work up into that blue a little bit and then come back down to your new section. That blue is already drying on me because it's so humid here.
Oh, the humidity makes it dry faster?
Heat. Yeah, heat and humidity. That's why we never fill our water cup with warm or hot water. Your paint will actually dry in your brush.
Right.
And I love painting outside. If you're painting outside and it's a beautiful, warm spring, summer day, every now and then you have to dip your brush in your water cup just to keep your paint fluid.
Wow. Did not know that.
That'll be one of my 10-minute technique Tuesdays when the weather gets a little warmer. I'll do a paint session outside. And we'll talk about those things.
Started adding the red.
I did, and it has gone horribly.
When you add the red, remember it's real powerful. So just a
Yeah.
tiny
That has been my horrible issue.
Red and blue.
Like that or one?
This is the one I had, which is like slightly less dark.
Slightly less powerful.
Yes. I want to save the dark red for the.
So this is where we remind ourselves if something goes sideways, we'll put a tree on it. It'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shauna, so are you still putting a little bit of blue on your brush?
I do have a tiny bit in there. I'm going to get ready and rinse it out because I'm going to move on to just pink and then yellow. Pink and yellow are going to make orange. Orange, and if I have blue on my brush, what do those make?
Poop.
Poop. So
You have taught us what.
I do have a little bit of blue on my brush right now for that purple that I have. Once I have a little purpley section, I'm going to rinse out.
I see.
Because nobody wants poop. So I have that blue, and then I have that purpley color. I'm going to move into pink. The most important thing here, I'm going to take the tiniest bit of red. And when you take white that doesn't have any blue in it. So I'm going to use out of the other edge of my white. And I'm going from purple down into a pink, and then I'll start to add yellow and finish out there. And edges, don't forget your edges.
All right, Shauna, will you tell me, I'm sorry, I was helping with some colors. Can you tell me what you do after the red? Sorry.
That's okay. Where are you? So we have the blue and white, and then you add a little bit of red, so you get purple. Once
Okay.
you're done with your purple, rinse that brush out really good.
Okay.
And then just a tiny bit of red and white. So you're going to get into pink.
Red. Okay. Red and white. Okay.
And after your pink, you're going to add a little bit of yellow and white, because that's going to make it kind of orangey to finish out.
Every once in a while when we do one of these paintings, I get the background done and then I think, but I don't want to do anything on the foreground because the back is so pretty.
So I have done that and taken it and just set it to the side. And I'll decide later if I'm going to do something with it. But I have that happen a lot, actually, Tracy.
Are we working all the way to the bottom? Or are we
All the way to the bottom.
All right, thank you, dear.
So don't blend your colors on your plate. Let it happen on your plate.
Yep, I'm finishing out the bottom with yellow and white. I had a little bit of red left in my brush, so I'm getting kind of an orangey. I kind of like it. So I'm going to leave it. And I played a little bit on mine, and as I was putting that yellow on there, I skipped up into my purple a little. I'm okay with that, but I know I can't touch it, because if I start to work too much of that yellow up in my purple and yellow are complementary colors. If you work them too much together at the same time, poop.
Hi, Karla. How you doing? Don't think it's
Actually, blue, it's just red and yellow and white.
Okay. After the blue, you put in a little bit of red for the purple.
Yeah.
And then rinse. And then
Red and
red and white for pink. And then you start adding a little yellow in for orange. And then just orange and white, or just yellow and white.
Yep, we're just working our way around that color wheel. How's our blending going out there?
It's so good. I like this part of paintings.
I do too, Tracy. I love big, bold brush strokes. Yeah, the background colors, the skies in paintings, those are always my favorite. Once we start to get to details, it kind of falls apart for me. I think I just identified my life, right? Once we get to the details, it all gets kind of shady. That's pretty accurate, though.
that's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't want to wait.
Oh, Tracy, you'll appreciate this. My husband, he came in like right as we were getting started, and he went to the bedroom to change. And my house is tiny. I live in a tiny home. So I was like, close the door if you're going to change, because the door is right here behind me to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, well, I didn't know you were having a private party. Who are you having your private party for? And I said, oh, it's the Cordells, and it's the sisters, and I'm sure you know all of them. And he's like, I don't think I do. And I was like, I started to talk about you, and I said, Tracy, she's the one that's in Guatemala. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. Do you know what got him to figure out who you are?
What?
Mooch and Mustache's mom.
Wow! That is so perfect.
Right?
I love your husband more now.
He's pretty special. I love that he identifies people based on their animals.
I do the same thing. I don't know my neighbors' names, but I know their dogs.
Yes.
We need more white again.
Yes.
How is this happening?
So remember your edges as you go. I'm not too concerned about that bottom edge, because we're going to put some grasses and things down there. So you might wait and paint that bottom edge of your canvas a green maybe, but you do want to make sure you have that whole front covered. Now I know we're going to put grasses down here on the bottom 3-ish fingers across. We're going to do that in a minute, but you want to make sure and have color underneath it, just in case grass doesn't cover in some place.
Red and yellow and a little bit of white.
Red and yellow, catch a fella.
Right, Grandma.
Yellow, correct.
Yes. Get you an orange. Just white and yellow to get you a pale, which hasn't quite gone. I wanted it to. Which is over here, all lovely. Oh, it's so pretty. I don't want to touch it anymore.
And then you're gonna phase out of the orange and
Yeah.
eventually you're gonna stop adding the red. You know, just have white.
Tracy, we can take a 10-minute break if you need. That way you can paint another background.
It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying the background.
Yeah, the colors do make me happy.
Yes, they're beautiful.
So I heard you say earlier, Tracy, you're still on curfew.
Yes, they extended it so that we have to be in our houses by 6 p.m., which is a godsend because it is so hot here. Like we've got 85 degrees most days. So walking the dogs at 3 was the worst. It was so horrible because outside. So I'd be just sweating into my mask. And then the dogs would be exhausted, but not really exhausted. They'd just be overheated. So it was pretty rough, but the extension to 6 is nice because even going out at 4 is better than 3. And yeah.
And if you're out, regardless of what you're doing, if you're outside your home, do you have to have a mask on?
Yes, even if you're in your car.
Really?
Yes, because there's so many cars with without air conditioning. So people are rolling down their windows, and also for the motorcyclists. I keep saying, because with that speed, they spread like the cone that they spread the virus with because of the way the wind whips it away is such a big deal. And it's a pretty fine. The fine is based off of your income statement. Like $650 or so if you break curfew, you're out without a mask.
So you want to try and blend it.
Crazy times.
It is. But I'll have to say, I love President Giamonte. He's done such a good job of taking good care of us. Like, I feel so much safer here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're incredibly fortunate to live in Ohio that we have the governor and Dr. Acton looking out for us, because I don't feel that on a federal level.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's DeWine. Is that your guys' governor?
Yeah.
I quite like him because he made good choices for you guys early on.
Yeah, he's very methodical about everything, and he's very thoughtful about everything. I really appreciate that about him. And he's I'm not Republican. I don't swing that way, so I never gave him much of a thought. I didn't necessarily care for him. Do you like that? I don't swing that way, but I really appreciate the way he's handled this. He's made me really like him.
Great. Especially to hear from someone coming from the health department side of things, because I know you've got a different view of us lay people out here.
And you know, most of what we see and most of what we're hearing is all very positive. There are a few that I could do without. There are a few people that are stirring the kettle, but for the most part, everything we see and everything we hear in Union County anyway, everybody wants to get along. Everybody wants to do the right thing. We all just want to get back to life, right? And if it means we have to be closed, well then we have to be closed.
Yeah, some of the other states are not having as much luck with that. Some of them are going a little crazy.
Yeah. How's it going in the Cordell household?
Haven't started yet, so.
This is finished 28 minutes ago.
How do you know?
Because it says.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hey.
Oh, I didn't get to see it. Come back. Come back. It is really pretty.
I'm not quite that far yet.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to excuse myself for a moment. I'll be back. Keep going.
Go take out your Gertie.
Why are you using the edge? Why don't you use it wide like that?
I do, but to blend it in some, because I got the two colors on it. I was trying to get them both on the canvas to help blend it in.
And she said to shush with the edge. Shushing is fun. One sugar, two sugars. 2 sugars, please.
Gertrude. No.
Going super slow this time.
So now we know if it's a race for eating, we win. And if it's a race for painting, I win.
No.
You only have one piece.
That's not my pick. Like a plum of yellow here and then orange, like a sun.
Ooh. There we go.
That's what I did here. I messed up to start with, but then I put a sun in the middle of it. See how it's real bright, and then it goes back
Like
to the
over
orange,
here.
like in here.
So what do you think? It's 7:39, 7:45 we move on? Plan?
Okay.
Do we need to have our background dry?
No, not necessarily. We're gonna get ready. Our next step is to put a sun down here. And the sun is pretty much the same color as my background.
Yes.
So you might have to add a little bit of white down in there to make it pop.
Yes.
I thought you said quiet. I'm like, oh no. I'm really leaving alone.
Now that's what I got, a little bit right here, and a little bit right here too.
Shelly, you have not been invaded by little people yet.
She locked the door.
I hear him now.
Speak of the devil, huh? Laura's eating.
She's eating her chicory, or chicory.
Nope.
I got it on here. But it's dry, but it's blended yet.
So Karla, where are we right now? Are we in the wine and charcuterie phase, or have we jumped straight to dessert?
And then where's your bottle at?
Oh.
Say we're reaching a snack level here. I can't keep up. Here we go. Here's where we're at, Shauna Sue.
Oh my God. You jumped straight in.
Straight in, both feet.
That's my girl. That's my girl. You're at home, right? You're safe.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
And it's a terrible color. But did you rinse your brush? Do you still have the yellow? It's gonna make poop. I would suggest going in with some white because I think that middle section is just. But you could also ask Jonas if she knows all the things.
Oh, you put something right there? I'm sorry. I thought it'd be easier for you to. Yeah. Okay.
Wait a minute, are you 6 feet away from Mom?
Come here. You can say hi. You don't want to? Okay, bye. Thanks.
I've been very careful. I wore my mask. One time I went to a store and that was the only interaction I've had.
So what do you think? 2 minutes? 2 minutes and we'll move on? Yeah? How far are you, Karla? Do we need to talk?
I'm like that far down. I got that much more.
Oh my
Wait a
God.
minute, you got that far down in that bottle?
What?
And then you need to stop the bottle and focus on the painting.
He's not down that far. That's what's left.
Holy camole!
Her part they don't like, I won't cover
So
up.
here in about 10 minutes, she's gonna sound like Bob.
Happy tree. Noise.
Too much.
I know, crazy. Huh?
No, okay.
Oh, like, it's one of the times that Mustache ate a loofah.
So what are you saying about
I
mine?
finally decided to stop buying loofahs.
No. You just can't see it. It's brighter than that. Shauna, will you put your picture up closer to your camera? Here, look at the computer.
What are we talking about?
Just how bright the colors are. Mom's worried that hers is too bright, but I don't feel like
no.
it is.
No, they're really bright. Let me see. Can I see Mom's?
I like how hers kind of like are up and down more. Like there's more purple up here and then some
No,
purple up here. Like
mine's nice and bright too. So where Mom goes from blue to purple, can we blend that a little bit? Is that maybe what's doing it? It kind of jumps from blue to purple, like there's a line there. Can you blend a little bit of purple there?
Yeah, it's so dry that it's like it's that tacky dry where it pulls the paint.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, Karla, that's
Good try.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
yes, it is very pretty.
Very nice.
I'm just slow.
Yeah.
And my brush keeps losing all these bristles. I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna have any bristles left in it.
So I say we wait another few minutes. Let's let that bottom, I'm gonna put the sun down in the bottom right corner. So it's gonna be about 4 fingers over and about 4 fingers up. So it's gonna be right in that corner. So I feel like Karla's canvas might still be really wet in that vicinity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give it another 5-ish minutes, okay? So take a break, go get your charcuterie tray.
I can't even. Your meat and cheese.
Karla, you got a Master's of Education or a Master's of Educational Leadership? What did you graduate with? From
Masters of Education, curriculum, technology. Isn't that what it is, Shelley? Shelley got one too. Same time.
That's right,
you have
Shelley,
to ask
congratulations. Yeah.
I should have sent you over a pack of decorations.
You're
So
good.
it's a
Go away in the wind on Saturday.
Masters of Education Curriculum and Technology.
I think so.
Which is why you had to write the terrifying paper of how COVID is affecting, because it was a curriculum technology course.
Yeah.
Did you have that same class, Shelley?
I did, but I took it in the fall, so my paper was different.
Yeah, her paper's the first paper I started writing and was almost done with when they changed the paper.
Yes.
Because she had shared the syllabus with me, so I have the paper that went with the course. And then the COVID happened and they changed it, and it was like, ah!
And then I was like, ah.
So were these guys.
But your paper turned out so good. Like, it was a really good paper.
Thank you.
She's eating her crackers like a cracker sandwich.
Well, she's got cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the
Yeah, say it.
Hillshire snacking one that has the pepperoni and cheese in it. That's really good.
Yeah, but
She totally
what is
cheated.
it? What is it called? What is it called?
That
Say it.
charcuterie thing.
Charcuterie? Is that right? I don't know anymore. I can't.
I call them meat and cheese. I don't know.
It came in this
Hey,
doohickey.
Karla, just say cinnamon for me.
No, thanks.
Come on. She can't say cinnamon.
She can't. It's hilarious.
So do we all have
It
to
would
go
make me
around
really
and say the word we can't say?
I don't think
Because
we
we
Yes.
all have one.
What's yours, Shauna?
You know, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'm sure there's one. Let me think about it. I know for the health department, I was filming law enforcement a couple weeks ago, and I had their script all written out for them, and I had cue cards so they could just read. And the Plain City Police Chief cannot say vigilant, that we're remaining vigilant. And for the longest time, I couldn't say it either because he kept mispronouncing it. He kept saying vigilant. And now I'm stuck that I really have to think about it, that it really is not village, it's vigilant. So yeah, that's probably mine right now.
I run into that when I'm helping the kids read at school and they mispronounce something 10 million times. I'll mispronounce it then.
Uh-huh. And it gets stuck there then, right? You're stuck.
Yep.
And then you're
I
like,
lost my ability to spell.
I think they come in to observe me as I say it wrong.
Tracy, what's your word?
I don't know that I have a word. I just have completely lost my ability to spell from grading papers where words are misspelled.
That's kind of a problem.
Especially rhyme and rhythm. Nope, never. And I teach a unit on poetry, and I have to write rhyme and rhythm, and it's so bad that the spell check can't fix it for me.
That's pretty
you're a
bad.
music teacher. You better be able to spell rhythm. Because my music teacher can't spell rhythm. Great.
Okay, I say let's go ahead and put a sun down there, shall we? So your measurements for your sun, find your medium-ish brush, and it is like, let's say 4 fingers in, maybe 3. 3 big fat fingers, how's that? And 3 big fat fingers from the bottom. Keep it down in that corner. It's like 2 fingers wide, my son is. Bigger than a 50-cent piece. I'm gonna use my medium brush. You can use your small one if you want, up to you. But it's yellow and white, and it's gonna be kind of hard to see because down in that corner, that's a lot of yellow white down there. But you can add a little more white across the top of it to give it a nice highlight. So I've got some yellow, a little bit of white, right down there in that vicinity. And it just blends right on in. You can't even see it. So I'm gonna take a little more white and go right across the top of it.
Fill it in.
3 over, 3 over, 3 up. You do 4. You get a
Yep, like 3 and 3-ish. And bigger than a 50-cent piece.
Marked it. That was not.
That's not a word.
It was okay.
And then I'm gonna pop that brush in my water cup. So who has a fan brush?
Oh, I have one.
Oh, me. I'm super fancy. I'm the graduate.
Oh, fine.
Wow, Tracy.
I bought the last packet of paintbrushes at Walmart the other day just so I could have that fan brush.
Oh, is that why the bristles are falling out? Oh.
What'd you say? 2 inches up?
Okay, who doesn't have a fan brush?
Tracy doesn't.
I don't.
Okay. Tracy, you don't have a fan brush either?
No.
What's your big brush look like? Do you have a big brush that's nice and chiselly, that has a nice chisel edge?
Nope.
Oh.
It's okay. When we did fan brushes with the black background, I just squished the brush I was working with, and it did really well.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, you can manipulate the brush that you have. So I have my big background brush. I'm gonna dry it off. Shelly, what's your brush look like? Your big brush.
Oh, the big one. Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. So just like form it nice and flat.
Okay.
And you can use that chisel, that chiselly edge to tap, tap, tap. But you want to make sure and get it nice and squished together. Which yours is new, right? So it should still be pretty squished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours looks like an egg.
Okay. Let's talk trees.
Are they happy trees?
They are so freaking happy.
So freaking happy.
So freaking happy. So I have this big guy here, and he starts about 4 fingers over from the side, and he's about a hand from the top. So he's pretty big. He's a big dude, this pine tree back here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have, so this is number 1, and then I have another one down here that got's kind of lost. Number 2, and 3, 4, 5, and then number 6. So the thing you need to think about, they're all different heights. They're all spaced different widths apart. Mm-hmm. The only place in the environment that all your trees would be the same height and the exact same distance apart would be a tree farm. So if your happy place is a tree farm, all you, go for it. Mine, I'm going a little more natural, a little more out in nature. So I'm going to have a big guy here and a couple shorter and then maybe a little taller. I have a really short little guy here by the sun. He's just little. One over here. So let's put, what do you think? Should we place all the backbones in first, do you think? How about let me show you the process start to finish? And I'm gonna use my big brush. So I'm gonna find my pointy brush. My pointy brush for the backbone. So what did I say? This guy, he was about a hand width down, about a hand width in. So I'm just gonna play in both of my greens. If you don't have two greens, take a little bit of yellow white and put over beside your green. That'll give you a whole different stuff going on there. So pointy brush in the greens, and my backbone for this guy is a hand width down, 4 fingers over, right about there. Woo! All the way down. I'm gonna go all the way down, knowing that the bottom 3-ish fingers is all going to be grass down here, right? So I'm going to run that backbone all the way down, but knowing I'm going to camouflage it in a little bit. Okay. So once I have the backbone of my tree, and you can do one or you can just wait and watch and see how the whole process goes. So once I have that whole backbone, I'm going to start up at the top with my flat brush. And again, like Tracy said, you can hold it, you can squeeze it together. You can use a fan brush if you have one. You have to leave that point, that very top. That's where you put the star on the Christmas tree, right? So you can't start your branches all the way up at the top. You got to come down a little bit. I'm just playing in both of those greens.
That's the thing.
Kind of playing in both of them. I'm going to use a lot of paint too, because that's going to help hold my brush together. I'm using my brush skinny ways. I'm going to come down a little bit, because that's where we put the star on the Christmas tree, right? And I'm going to give a tiny little tap. Tap. I'm going to come down a little further and do a heavier tap. Whoop, tap. By tap number 3, I'm going to start going back and forth. Don't get too fat too fast. Remember, pine trees like this are real skinny at the top, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get to the bottom. Don't press, if you're using a flat brush, don't press so hard that you're splaying your brush out. I'm just using the paint on the end of that brush. If you're using a fan brush, remember, don't do this with your fan brush, right? You got to stay like this, side to side. If you start working down to the right and down to the left, things get weird. It gets real droopy and funny looking. So just back and forth, to the right, back to the left, tap, 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 tap. And I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Gertrude, honey girl.
Is Gertie having a bad day?
Someone came over to see my husband on a motorcycle, and I closed the blind, so she knows they're still out there. But I've closed the blind so she can't see them.
You're torturing
She's
her.
upset right now.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
we got green, yellow.
It looks like a redwood.
Did you make sure green, Annie, to make it darker?
Okay, so what did we say? We have 6 of those. 5, 6, 3, 7, entirely up to you. Don't cover your sun though, right? And I'm gonna keep the tall one out here at the side and kind of come down now, right? Stream out.
It's been less successful this time.
Hey, Trudy. Trudy.
Why do you say that?
This is
Okay, so let's see. I have one. I'm gonna put another one right about there. And then one a little taller. Maybe a little short guy right there. One over here. They're okay to run into each other. I mean, they would in nature, right? They would intermingle down at the bottom branches.
Just hold the brush down like this.
Just keep it straight across. And then spread it out again. Fill it in just a little. Not to make it.
Okay, let's see, I can get this like a second. Figure one out after.
Sweet girl.
I put a little black in mine, make it darker.
I think you're going a little bit too like spaces in between the.
Just me anymore.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I like to see Sue's back. Yeah. She's so fast.
That's it.
She's so upset that that motorcycle's out there. And I won't let her see it.
Does she ride in a side bag of a motorcycle?
You know, in her days pre-back surgery, she would have. She used to ride in the basket of my my trike.
Yeah.
But I worry about putting that much pressure on, like she used to go kayaking with me, but to sit in the kayak in between my legs, she has to sit really vertical like a groundhog. And I worry about the pressure that puts on her spine.
Right.
So those days are done.
And was it a degenerative thing or was it an incident like that
No,
made
degenerative. Yeah, she degenerative. So they retired her they retired her line because she was bred, she was something fancy. And then when we
Right.
got her, she was already 4 years old when we got her, and she had one litter of puppies, and near the end of her pregnancy, her back end was paralyzed. Well, that's because there was some kind of compression. And then so we knew when we got her that there were issues there. And then we found out
Right.
after the fact that they retired her line, and she came with us just to live as a retired lady. So we kind of knew that there was something going on, but thankfully
Extent of it.
we thought ahead and got, when we got her, we got pet insurance. Best thing ever.
Oh, thank goodness, yeah.
Oh, is there wine out there?
See, Moochie Pooch has been having trouble with his vertebrae are closing together at the base of his tail on his spine.
Oh,
So he's losing some of the nerve function that goes into his back legs and his ability to use the bathroom. So right now what it is you can't pet him on his back portion. You can't get too close to his tail. And
yeah.
he screams because it hurts him.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of terrible. At
So
first it was because we didn't know what was going on, and he wasn't screaming, he was just running away from his own poop. And so everybody just kind of thought it was funny, and then it became, oh no, wait, this is bad.
Yeah. We have Gert on, she's on Tramadol 3 times a day, and that
Mhm.
seems to be working really well for her. The problem we were having, I think, knock wood, we finally have it in a maintenance point. She was having UTI after UTI after UTI. Well, because she lost a lot of the nerves in the back end for her, and it's the motorcycle.
I know. She has to go kill it.
She's listening. Like she has to stop breathing so she can hear because she snorts.
Frenchies.
But, because she lost a lot of feeling when it was time to go to the bathroom, so she wasn't emptying her bladder completely.
Right.
So it was UTI after UTI, and we're like, what is going on? Well, that's because she doesn't have a lot of feeling back there. She can't empty it all the way. So we have her on maintenance antibiotics, and that seems to be working really well. You just find
Great.
the vet.
I'm glad that you guys found the solution to help with that. Yep.
What was that? Say that again.
That I was glad that you found a solution to help with it. We just do what we can for him.
Right. I adore my vet. I have the best vet ever. And I've told her that when I'm going to need her to help me when the time comes, because I'm selfish and I'm not going to be able to make that decision.
Yeah.
She has promised me that she won't let it get too far. We'll have a conversation when we need to.
Oh, that's a brave vet who really cares about the animal, because it's a client service thing too, right? So it's scary to go up to a client and say, hey.
Yeah.
It has taken me that entire time to do one tree. Trees.
Seem to be better at small trees. Yours is amazing.
It's okay.
He is
So
kind of,
I'm gonna just keep playing in my trees. I know the light source for these trees over here. The light source is on the right. That's the way the sun is hitting them. So I'm gonna take that fan brush, wipe it off, and take a little bit of yellow and white, just a little bit.
that's so smart.
And maybe hit a couple of the branches on the right side of that tree to add a little bit of Little bit of sunlight there.
See, I did that all over the tree, thinking about where the sun was.
Because the sun would be hitting that side of that tree.
That's pretty cool.
On the right side of this tree.
I know, she's so
On the right side of this tree.
I guess I got more trees.
I have one tree done, barely. Hi, Kylie.
Is that it, Karla? I'll take this one. She doesn't cry as much.
fast, you to. I should have asked you to buy more green paint.
Kids, yeah, ready? You gonna help?
Will you?
Why are you gonna cry?
Anything on that tree?
Are you ready?
My tree is not thick enough.
How was your walk?
I'm just gonna fill in down here.
Yeah.
I'm down at the bottom of my trees. I'm just gonna tap, tap, tap a little bit of grass. Tap, tap, tap.
Somebody deliver you a oh, how cool. You was talking about that the other day, that they were people doing that. Did she make a line again for her little trees? Did she? Okay.
I can't tell you how satisfying the little tap tap sound is on the wet paint, where it's like drumming on the canvas just a little. Such a good feeling. Think about the.
Oh, and if you didn't, when you're done with your trees and you're done with your little grasses down there, if you didn't paint the bottom edge of your canvas, now's the time. I did not, so I'm gonna get in there with a little bit of green. That bottom edge.
Oh no, I think I'm gonna lose this tree that I wanted to do over here. Yep.
Why are you losing the tree?
Because this other tree ate it. It was like, that's a tasty snack. I'm gonna eat it.
So Tracy, I had the same thing happen on the original. And if you look super duper close, there's a tree right here that just kind of got sucked in. But I just went in with a little bit of yellow and white and pulled him forward.
Ah.
Or you can just let him be eaten, right? That's up to you.
I mean, it is a competition, right? They've got to find out who can get the most light. Some trees lose.
Accurate.
Tell them all about it? Okay. All right. You ready to paint the bottom?
Yeah.
Me too, dude. Me too.
What's in yellow? How many colors do you use first? Can you use blue first?
Pretty. Pretty. What's going on?
Karla, you picked a good painting.
Thank you. I thought it was very pretty.
It's a fun one too. Very satisfying. Tap, 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 tap.
Wait till we get the knife on the tree part.
Oh, yes.
So whenever I do pine trees with a fan brush or this kind of a tree, I use a lot of paint. In the original painting, we're going to add our birch trees, birch or sycamore, I'm not sure. We're going to add our other trees in front of those. We're going to have a couple over at the left and one that splits over at the right. I have used so much paint in my pine trees that it is gooby. It's going to take a long time to dry. So you might look for a blow dryer if you have one, if you're a heavy paint user like I am. But we're going to wait a little bit before we move on.
Oh, I should have grass and stuff too. I am way behind.
I know, when did the grass happen?
I don't know.
Just randomly. I did it to cover the bottoms of the trees.
I took
Just take your fan brush and tappy, tappy, tappy. And then over at the left side, I added the tiniest bit of black because I want that to be in shadow. I want my bright spot to be here by the sun. I would caution you on the black though, because it's powerful. So just a little bit if you're going to do it. I am totally sober, but that was totally drunk Shauna Sue just now. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. So while you guys are working, I'm going to go let Gertrude out and convince her the motorcycle is gone. I'll be back. I know. That's okay. I know.
That's what I thought. Talks to you that way. Dad talks. Your dad talks like he's an infant. Not a dog at all.
Well, that's because she's a fur baby.
What would you think? About Amazon?
I can't wait till it's over.
This internet ad?
The people say
What do you think?
In the 90s? No, we didn't.
Well, I don't know. I guess.
In the 80s?
I really cared about the internet back in the 90s.
It was so very new. And only the really could afford it.
What do you want?
College.
I know.
I was trying to,
You got internet?
Yeah.
When I was going to college?
yeah, because I talked to you back and forth. And then, yep, because I
just.
I had a brother word processor.
It was me. You got email for me when I went to college so that you could email me, but you didn't like to do it because it was too hard to type with your nails.
Basically to blend the bottom
It
in.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's not why I got rid of it. I kept thinking I had to be there all the time to answer everything. And I didn't like that.
That's also okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
And back then it was that dial-up internet. My lord, that stuff was awful.
Let's show. Do you want to show
The yellow.
them? We'll show. Are you ready?
You're gonna cover bottom.
The yellow.
That's beautiful. You're doing such a good job.
Yeah. Killing it.
Well, now we know who we
Good
can't
job
bite
with the
anymore.
shading of the trees. You get mine right.
How you think? Good? Dude, you found my sucker stash?
Shauna Sue, can you talk to us about what you did with to make the grass happen again?
Just, do you have a fan brush or no? No?
No. No
Tap-
fan brush.
Just little, hang on. There, just little tappy tap taps.
Okay.
I just kind of created a mess down there. So I created a mess with the greens that I had been using for the trees. But then I added a tiny, tiny bit of black over at the left down in front of that tree because that would kind of be in shadow, right?
I feel like I might be more comfortable trying to do that with brown. Rather.
Ooh.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? Color-wise?
Yeah.
You brown.
Yeah.
You brown.
Brown is going to be less scary. Black is very strong. So yeah, I would totally use brown.
I totally
I'm interrupting.
brown on the thing, and certain people just went in and swooped it off of my thing.
So what she's saying is you want to make this darker for the shadow of the sun. You see my
Shauna, on your yellow, the highlights you put on the tree with the yellow, did you mix that with white?
A tiny bit. The yellow by itself is way too transparent. So I added a tiny, tiny bit of white just to make it pop.
Okay, thank you.
Not so much white that it looks like it's snowing though.
Oh, I like snow.
Painting though.
Up to you, your call.
Then white looks like snow.
I just lost my branches. A big tree here.
Oh, this is what's gonna scare me, because I'm going over the top and stuff.
I got pink.
It's attacking, watch out.
Whoops.
Almost like you're looking over a knoll at the
I
tree.
didn't go off the chair.
Oh,
You do me a favor?
Blend it, kind of blend it, don't make it cut like that, kind of blend it down in.
Here, and we can throw it in my. Don't be tree.
I'm looking.
Okay.
On top of that tree. Too much. Too much paint. I had trouble knowing whether to put paint on or not.
Not like this far on her.
Thank you.
How you doing, Karla? How are your pine trees coming out?
Hey, they could probably be healthier, but they're there. They look like it must be pine needle dropping time. They're a little thin, I think, but.
No.
So whenever that happens, load your brush up again and go back in like every other branch. Don't make the whole thing heavier, but just make it heavier in spots.
There's some people in here. You know.
Inside the other side.
7, on it.
Leave it be.
Now we're doing,
Mix it into a mop.
huh? Not yet.
Then my
The grass. Because I'm planning on doing a
squishing it so that it's squishy, but
It was,
There you go.
okay.
not really tacky. It's kind of squishy. And it is the part of my painting that I like the least.
less successful today.
I believe Shanasu would suggest that you step back, take a deep.
Nice, Karla. Nice.
Did she go all the way across with her? Yes, she did.
So how about we take a good fat 5-minute break? Karla, it might be time for dessert.
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a good fat 5-minute break, and we're gonna get ready and put those trees, our birch trees or our sycamore. We're gonna do those in white first, and then drag black across. So I'm gonna want to make sure, if I'm gonna paint them in white first, I need to make sure everything under there is dry. So those trees are a big old fat hand in from this side and about a fat hand from that side. So let's make sure a fat hand width on the left and a fat hand width on the right, that's dry back there. So I'm gonna go get my blow dryer because I'm a heavy paint user and this will never dry on its own.
Okay, I'm gonna dry my hands and then I'm gonna go to the brush.
I don't think I need a whole lot more, but.
Oh, Mary Frances said that she was first.
Yes.
Honestly, like next time you're pretty good at that.
That's what happens if it's really long.
Yeah.
And here I worry about the little bit of flour I had on the mushrooms bother my eye.
Yeah, see?
There I'm done.
Yep.
Try it tomorrow.
All for today.
Excuse me? Carla.
Yeah.
Did I hear that you had mushrooms?
Sorry, what?
I heard you say you had mushrooms.
Yeah, Mom does too.
Thanks, I'm sitting.
And actually, had I known you were here when you were here, I would have given you some of mine because I am the only one at the house that eats them. But I didn't know you were here until after I had got done drying my hair in the bathroom, and Mason was like, "Oh yeah, Laura stopped by."
Okay, but I was being nice and giving you a surprise.
Yes. I appreciate that. You were very nice.
Mushrooms. I saw some at Myers that are dehydrated.
Mom didn't give you your share of her mushrooms?
You sent some for me? She sent mushrooms for me and you didn't give to me.
Yeah, I don't think she's talking about.
Telling me that she used to have, That tree is just too. Okay, what, oh, she put a little bit of yellow down there on the grass too, didn't she?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So as we're taking time and we're letting those green or evergreen trees dry, we're gonna wanna have a clean big brush, maybe some clean water, clean white paint. So clean big brush, clean water, clean white paint.
Do I do it brushed up where you have, or do I do it kind of angled down?
Clean white brush, like size brush. Did she say?
Do you do it all the way down the side, or is that too many? That's too many.
Yeah.
Need clean water? Oh, I don't know.
She suggested it.
Oh, did she? Okay, all right. I'm kind of rough on your towel, so I'll have to get you a
Why?
Are we using a wide brush or?
Wait, I'm still doing, I'm still trying to make. Oh. I'm not even any kind of currently.
Okay.
Well, I am, but
That's
not what I was supposed to be doing. Way far behind.
Okay, too heavy up here. Thank you very much for the lasagna was perfect.
Who's jealous about lasagna?
Don't be. I just thought it was good. Well, I know it's good. Very good. I don't know if I'm missing a step yet or not.
Oh, I'm not so sure.
Oh. Well, it looks really good from here.
Sideways from here.
But yes, it looks good, Dan. Or Dan. I've been with Dan so long, so much.
Oh, what? Who did you just call Dan?
Me? I have been with him for 2 months solid. I'm not used to that.
Not used to being able to say anybody else's name in person. Cleaned up a spot so that we can have clean white.
I don't like that.
Your napkin is a painting.
Yes.
So we'll get ready and move on here in a few minutes. Make sure you have a clean big brush, clean white paint, and then whatever you're going to use to drag across your tree. I took one of my paper plates and just cut it up into squares. You can use an old credit card, driver's license, anything with like a firm, straight edge. And we'll wait a few more minutes because we've lost Karla completely. So we'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll move on.
I'm not done. What do you mean?
we don't need the scissors to do it.
Do you need to drink Starbucks?
Really? You got this receipt. I got one from Fat Daddy's Arcade. I think it's down in Gatlinburg.
Oh, I don't even know.
Speedway card. You can use any of those.
Use the blow dryer.
I could give it to you to use and then couldn't find it.
Mhm.
Check and see, 'cause they had a whole bunch of things on them. So I lost it. Thank you.
Okay, Karla, what's for dessert?
Cheesecake with strawberries on it.
Nice.
Thanks to Laura.
She's pretty great.
She's pretty awesome.
My comment is in a really weird place.
It makes sense with colors.
Well, I said it like it snowed.
I did it.
I feel like the top of my tree here has nothing.
It's okay. It'd be like that. Wait till you look at the way ours is. Ours does that.
Strawberries are really ripe.
Mhm.
I don't think so. I don't know. You take a look to see if I've done what I'm supposed to have done. I think I'm where she's at. I don't think she can see it from here.
Looks good, Mama.
Can you see it?
I can. Looks good. Those colors are spectacular.
It's beautiful.
That looks good. That looks good. So now make sure they're dry before we move on to put those sycamore trees on.
Oh, okay. I thought it was dry, but I didn't think I put it on that heavy. What do you think? Yeah. We've got it on.
Got one spot that's like really wet.
All right, so what's next thing we're going to do?
I'm serious.
One second.
What
in the world is happening on that end?
Trying to get my trees dry.
You're copying me.
Wet trees. Got that, see, it's getting there.
Go over here.
Tried to do a little extra, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so my phone. And that is okay. If I start here, yeah, those are grass on the street.
way across here? I'm
I
scared.
don't know how much white she's gonna want us to have. I have a little bit right in the center that I can use, but the rest of green or blue.
That's what they said to do.
Yeah, because I'm afraid I'll just get it all mixed up in there.
Oh, yeah.
All your plates too.
Oh, it's expensive.
Well, it's hard to find.
Because we're gonna.
Okay, I think as soon as Karla gets back, we'll get ready to move on.
Gotta be a broke coin.
All right, are we ready? Here we go. Oh, is she blow drying? Yeah.
Don't move. Just.
So I'm going to start with my trees. They're just white to start. And they're going to be about as wide as my big brush. But if I start with that big brush fat ways, wide ways, they're going to get too fat too fast. So I'm going to use the big brush, but I'm actually going to use it skinny way. And then I can make it a little wider, wider, wider as I go. So I have 4 kind of. I'm going to start with this guy over here. He's pretty darn straight, right? Top to bottom, he's pretty straight. And then I'm going to leave a nice gap, maybe 2 fat fingers. And my next one, he might lean in and almost touch the other one at the top. And then over on the other side, it starts out kind of as one, but then as we go up, it splits into 2. So your trees are whatever you want them to be, but they're just going to be white stripes to start with.
It just makes me nervous. I can't make a straight line. I shake too much. It's gonna be a kind of a disaster.
It's so hard to have this painting and then just put white stripes all over it, right?
She's got 2 on this side, right? Yeah, but that's the furthest one in, or no? Okay.
Started narrower at the top.
Oh, she started at the top? Oh,
Yeah, top down, Mama.
okay.
You need white.
Yep, they're just white. And the beautiful part of this is it's nature. They don't have to be straight.
I know, but I've got to have some sort of a guide up to it, to a point, because I just shake so bad.
Yeah, it's quite French.
Wait, so Shauna Sue,
Yeah, baby.
you said top to bottom, not bottom.
You know, it's up to you. You want to make sure they're skinnier at the top and fatter at the bottom. I have a hard time sometimes if I go, yes, traditionally I would go bottom up, but these, for whatever reason, I have a hard time figuring out where they're going to wind up at the top. So sometimes it's easier for me to start top and pull down.
Okay. And sideways on the brush?
Skinny ways.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
That made, I was saying the same thing, but your language was more clear.
Gotcha. But when we're done, they're going to be about as wide as your brush. But if you start with your brush wide ways, they're going to get fat fast. So start skinny ways.
Okay.
Hey. Oh, the food? No. Nope, we're not chasing food. Nope.
You don't let Gertie do anything fun.
What was that, Tracy?
You're not letting Gertie do anything fun today.
I'm such a mean mom. So we live on a really old homestead, an 1860s homestead, and we have these catalpa trees that have been here forever, and they really probably should come down, but they're hollow in the middle, and we have raccoons that have decided to nest and have babies in one of them. And every night at this time, they prance across right in front of the door and tease Gertrude.
Oh, fine.
Oh, yeah. It's all fine and good until one of them gets one of my chickens, and then we're going to have to talk.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah.
A little excited, perhaps.
I see too much. See, I get real fat up here. Go skinny and then go fat again.
But that happens in nature. Trees aren't straight.
They are in Karla's nature.
Tulip trees are super straight.
Actually, we have one. My favorite tree. Like
Did you buy that one, or did you pick that one up from seeds at Houston Woods? At the lobby of
No, we bought it. We bought it.
Because you liked it from Houston Woods, though, right?
Yeah, it was about 6 foot tall when we bought it.
Bought it at a tree auction.
So you had to bid on your tree?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that is really amusing to me.
We like to go to auctions, and I don't like to lose, so it's not a good combination.
No, auctions are not a good thing for me. I still remember the, I don't remember which family reunion it was, but we used to go, it was always around Halloween.
The one in Springfield, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when we did the auctions there and how much I wanted stuff, and it was all crap, but I wanted it.
Yeah.
What do you mean it was all crap? There was a perfectly good bottle of Franken beans that had been passed around for about 20 years.
Yeah.
You would just pantry right now. Florentine bean. You would have been set for dinner.
That's not something
I mean, if you had to.
Have you met me? I will starve before I eat something I don't enjoy.
I mean, it can't all be frozen pizzas with little square pepperonis.
Yeah, I remember those Myers pizzas.
That only Kevin cut up the way that I most liked, because he would cut them into these teeny tiny slices, and it made me so happy.
Kevin.
I don't think he liked doing it either. He did it once as a joke, and then it was like my favorite thing, and he was dead.
So with that, let's talk about the next step. Let's talk about the black on the trees.
That
was a nice segue.
Right? I do what I can, right?
There it is, yeah.
So find your straight edge. So again, I have a paper plate that I've just cut up into a square. I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna drag it kind of perpendicular into that black paint. So I don't have very much black paint on there at all. Okay. I'm gonna set it. I'm gonna pick a side. I'm gonna do the left side. Up to you. You can do either side. You can do both sides. Up to you. I'm gonna set it very perpendicular. Don't lay it down. I'm gonna set it right on the left edge of that white line of my tree. And I'm gonna think about a smile. I'm gonna set it there and I'm gonna think of a smile all the way up the left side. If the black is too much, you can go back with a little bit of white and do the same thing. I just put white back on that. That kind of creates a little marbly. But be careful not to lay it down too much because it'll just paint your tree black. You really just want to set it on that edge and drag it across. And when you drag it across, I'm doing a very gentle curve, a very gentle smile curve. And I'm going to do that to all of those white lines, all of those trees.
All right. Well, I'm doing this painting, so I will talk to you again. Okay. I am doing this.
Is he coming home? Did you tell him to come home?
Where's my dad? No.
Get a little more down or that way.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be embarrassing when I start. Just now.
I can figure it out.
It can't be embarrassing, you're fine. In fact, I'm like 12 steps behind everybody. Awesome. Fine, just go here.
Is someone making margaritas?
Right?
It's not a blender. I'm just finally to the place where I can do my blow drying. So I'm a little behind.
You do
If you
you,
want me to
sister. Carry on.
If you want me to say, I can, but.
He's totally making margaritas.
Do what?
Totally making margaritas.
That's what's happening with my pink blow dryer.
I'm not here to judge you.
Good day.
Everybody else is now.
I can't
Say.
hear you.
Yes, you can. You love me.
Thank you.
This is where the card comes from.
Yes. All right. I don't love my trees. I'm not a big fan of my birch trees. They're not.
What's wrong with your birch trees, Tracy?
I couldn't, they're not turning like a really solid white. So they're kind of weird and they kind of fade into the background. I don't know if putting the black on is going to help give them a better edge or what, but we'll find out.
Okay.
I have a green birch tree, but other than that,
Yeah, I definitely, like, I had to, like, dab in a couple of places because the green was happening.
on the left side, I'll try to go over it again.
That's mine.
You did a really nice job. I like your birch trees. You can help me figure out how to do that.
I don't know.
Oh, that just made it more green.
You just said to put it on like this, straight up,
Oh.
and then kind of just,
Should this tree be all the way over to the edge too?
mine was. You don't have to.
Some of them.
You don't have to.
It isn't completely dry. So
Nope, birch trees, everything is going wrong. My painting was so beautiful before.
All right, Tracy, flip it around. Let me see.
There you go. You're good. Okay.
You see how they're just kind of, I don't know, undefined. And then when I tried to put the black on, I just ended up scraping up paint instead.
So when you put the black on and then put a little bit of white back over it. Get a little more of a marble, do you think?
Okay, I will try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
what is the
Ooh. Also, you doing it.
right?
I don't think I don't think that's what she said, no, but can you talk through putting the black on again, Shauna Sue?
Yeah. So you've got your straight edge, right?
Yeah.
And I'm loading my brush. I'm loading my straight edge. I'm just kind of dragging it vertical through that paint. I'm not getting much on there at all. Okay. And then I'm sitting it very perpendicular.
Okay.
Right on the edge, right on the left edge of that white.
Paint, so you're gonna get dirty.
And dragging across to the right.
Hold it up. Up. You gotta hold it like this.
Oh, it's so good, Mom.
There's white paint right here. And we gotta go.
I wonder, what are you using to put your black on your trees, Tracy?
A credit card.
Huh. Do you have an extra paper plate you can cut up?
No, I don't think I do.
Sometimes a credit card, just like the knives, the palette knives at the studio, sometimes they're too firm. If you had like a piece of cardstock, a piece of junk mail you could cut up, sometimes that works because it gives a little more. It's about finding that right balance.
I'm actually thinking it's starting to work a little bit better.
It's a technique thing too. It's just figuring out what works for you, right? Just take time.
Shower?
Is this all you're doing?
I think so.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. So the last thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to put a couple little tiny branches on there. This is optional. You don't have to, but the original painting has a couple little branches that kind of reach out.
we have to do that?
I don't know, maybe.
Are you gonna do it?
You wanna do branches?
You have your own painting palette, you brat.
We'll do branches.
Can I show you how to do branches and then you can decide if you want to do them?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm trying something new, I'll try it on my plate first. So I have my pointy brush.
Right.
I'm going to take that pointy brush and I'm going to get some white and a little bit of black. And I'm going to pretend like this is my tree that I just painted on there, okay? So let's pretend that's my tree. And with my pointy brush, I have some black and some white. And I'm going to take that brush and I'm going to twirl it as I paint those little branches.
Oh, did you see that?
And maybe he needs another little branch friend.
What?
I know, right?
Friends? Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Let's go again. So I'm going to hold it very parallel to my canvas. I'm not holding it like I hold a pencil. Every other time I've painted, I've held my brush like I hold a pencil. Not holding it that way this time. I'm holding it with my middle finger and my thumb so they twirl. And I'm holding it flat to my canvas.
That is awesome. She's trying to sign a painting, huh?
Another thing you can do if you're not sure about the whole twirl thing, because that takes time to figure out. You can just do a little shaky. You can do a little shaky hand.
Let's get our paper.
A little shaky. But that's something I would definitely practice on your plate first to see how you feel about your tree branch.
All right, you ready? Well, I'm gonna show. We're gonna do two trees. There's a tree, and there's your tree.
That one's not perfect.
Well, thanks for telling me that mine's not perfect.
That's what
You're an ego booster, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
Black and white makes black.
Black and white mix gray.
Okay, so what are you using black and white?
That's what she said. Hold on. Remember she said, twirl. What do you think?
I have to do a painting too.
You can do it too.
Well, I have to do it in the class.
Yeah, let me put you on mute. No one wants to hear everything. We just speak the truth around here, that's all.
I love it.
Okay, but I have to have my trees like really close together. Oh, good. My trees are inspiration.
Okay, they're turning out all right.
What do you think of that?
Spectacular.
Ready for the pattern of art.
He got a little behind. At least I'm not the last one now. Oh, no, that's me. I like the branches on it, but I'm not doing good on branches.
I know, I'm so scared of the branches.
Well, and you can decide whether or not yours needs branches. If you're really nervous about the branches, you could look at the screen real quick, Tracy. You could put one here
Mm-hmm.
in the green, so it's not in the blue where it's super obvious. Put it down in the green where it's a little camouflagey.
Okay. Can you
And
show
then-
for them again?
Yeah. And then when you feel bold, then you can move up to in the blue.
Right.
So I have my pointy brush.
Okay.
Pull it out of the water cup, dry it off, and take some black and some white. Just kind of playing in them. Little black, little white. And I'm going to hold my brush very, let's see, where can I put another one? Very parallel to the canvas. Whoop.
There we go.
You did, that's not working for you?
Not so much.
Okay. Very parallel to the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And gonna go up and around and out.
Okay.
Kind of very slowly twirling. And I'm twirling because that makes it a little shaky, a little more natural.
Okay.
And I think the reason I load my brush the way I do, drag it through the black and then drag it through the white. So when I twirl it, I'm getting a different color.
Mm.
All right, so now I'm going to start the top and pull it down into this one. So next spot, or just in front of it a little bit. So it's like a finger. About what point are you?
All right. I'll do it.
Are you doing it? Is it happening?
I'm going to, yes. A smaller pointy brush.
Yeah, my pointy is a 5.
Oh, you're so sweet that you think I know anything about the numbers of my brushes.
There, a lot of times the numbers are right there on the handle.
Probably if you buy not dollar store brushes.
Tracy, you are the reason that I will continue to do Zoom even after the studio reopens.
I love being the reasons for things.
The best reason.
Are you doing the branch? I want to see you do the branch.
No, don't watch me do the branch. You're gonna freak me out. Go over there. Go away. I'm not doing
Are you
it.
allowing Gabriel away?
She doesn't want to let me see her do the branch, so I can copy if she doesn't. Or not
Well,
copy
but
if
your
she
brushes
doesn't.
look so much better than mine. I love them. They're beautiful. Okay, but seriously, you can't make me do this. Go away. Oh my God, you really are. You're going to stand there and watch.
Yes.
Yeah, I go right back.
Okay, all right.
See.
A little bit of black and a little bit of white.
Holy moly, what in the world?
I'm sorry.
I got her branch went really fast that time. It was a really quick branch. I think somebody came to visit. Was your last private party during this time?
No. No. My last private party was like, am I gonna do private parties this way? Because nobody talked. It was a little awkward.
Oh yeah, that would be the worst.
Yeah.
You
Everybody
as
should
well.
talk.
How is it? Twirling?
Yes.
Counterclockwise or clockwise?
Gabriel wants to know if he needs to
Clockwise.
clockwise or clockwise.
Clockwise.
Why are you answering that seriously? She's humoring you.
No, did you see me? I actually had to think about it. Wait, it is clockwise. It is totally clockwise. Wait, is he right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Then clockwise, yes.
Okay. See, it was more.
Oh my gosh, Tracy. No, really. Clockwise because, okay, clockwise to the right. If you're pulling a branch to the right, clockwise, so the paint winds up on the top of the heavy paint winds up on the top of the branch. The other way is counterclockwise. He's on to something.
That's brilliant. What do you know? I feel bad for
I am mind blown, right? I was like, oh, ha, ha. Oh, no. Crap, wait. Oh, beautiful. You've done such a good job. And would you believe that was the last thing? So what's the very last thing an artist does to their painting? The very last thing.
What do they put on it? What do you put on your papers with mommy?
How do we know it's yours?
What do we have to put? Your eye color?
No.
Am I going to write your brother's name?
No.
What am I going to write? Who did it?
No.
What am I going to write on there?
Mommy.
Our names. High five, girlfriend.
So when an artist signs their painting, it's not like at school. We don't write it across the top of the paper, right? I've seen it. Usually artists sign down in the bottom corner. If you don't want to sign in the bottom corner, you could sign on the edge if you have a stretched canvas. You can also sign on the back. Never, ever here. Always on the edge. If you sign here and you use a marker like a Sharpie or a paint pen, it might bleed through. So if you're going to sign on the back, you should always sign on the edge where the wood is. But I like to have a signature right on the front where you can see it.
Yeah.
So what is your artist's signature?
Sorry, I could not think of the word.
Name. Okay.
Why?
No, that's your whole name. What's the first letter of your last name?
Okay.
No, that's the first letter of your first name.
What?
Gracious.
So my artist signature, my full name is Shauna Sue Jordan. So my artist signature is S for Shauna, S for Sue, and Jordan. That's my signature.
What do you want to put? KP?
Mm-hmm.
But those are your initials. Who named you? I don't know either.
And then I like to have a little .20 on there so I know what year it was.
All right. Well, how about we just put the year since you and I both did it? Do you want to do that? Yeah. All right. Okay. We're going to put it over here. You going to do it with me?
I think so.
All right. Is that the hand you write with? Oh, goodness. Gracious.
School been out too long, Mom?
Yeah. Woo. Her teacher's not very good. No, I'm talking about mommy.
Now you know what she's going to say in the Zoom meeting next time.
Yeah.
Mom says you're not very good.
Oh, there you go.
So as we wrap this up tonight, I would love for each one of you to selfie with your picture. Take a picture of yourselves with your painting, and then can you private message it to the studio for me? And I will put them together in a little collage that then I will share on Crooked Door for you guys to see. Is that a plan? How about I'll give you until 10 o'clock to send it to me. Okay?
Oh, Lord. I'm still working on trees here.
What time, Laura?
Why don't you stay sitting down? 10's fine. I was just teasing. Would you like me to show you?
Ooh, let me see. Oh, those are beautiful.
I like them.
So good.
You did a nice job.
Well done.
Somebody else-
Laura, is that mom's or yours?
Oh, that's totally mom. I got naked trees here. I got naked trees all over the place.
Oh, that's gorgeous, Karla. Does it make you happy?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So that when you talk that we can see.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Pretty.
Hold it up again, Karla.
What?
Hold them both up.
Oh, both?
Both.
Look.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Wow, beautiful, guys.
Nice. So you have,
Very nice.
we'll say until 10 o'clock, you have the next 40 minutes to private message the studio a picture of, I want to see your faces, a picture of you with your paintings, and then I'll collage them together. Plan?
Beautiful, yes.
Sounds great.
So just one last question before we go.
Yeah.
Do you feel very celebrated?
Yes, I do.
Good.
A party for
Thank
her.
you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
wait a
you
second,
so much, Donna Shu.
Carla. When you hold up your picture, we want you in your cap and gown with your picture.
My
And
cap.
you lost them. Yeah, but you gotta have it on your head. And also, you lost a decoration behind you.
Yeah. They fell down through the night, and the purple thing went see-through.
It sure did. What happened?
That's so weird.
It's a good thing I didn't try to wear it or something.
Hang on.
I feel.
All right, ready?
What I'm hearing is during painting, things go see-through. I'm not sure if that's a good piece of a commercial for you.
You might get more mail participants.
I'm not wearing see-through. I don't care what any of you say.
All right.
You just didn't wear pants at all, did you? Because you knew it was a Zoom.
You don't have pants on now.
That's what I thought.
God.
It's going to a whole nother place, Sean.
Okay.
All right, you
Didn't
say
know pants was a requirement.
bye.
Bye.
Yep, we've reached the naked part of the evening, so we're going to say goodbye. Make sure and send your picture to the studio, private message it, okay?
All right.
Thank you so
Okay,
much, Donna
bye-bye.
Shu.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, sisters. Bye, Mom.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
Love you guys.